Hey guys, it's me, Kara Carouse, intuitive life coach. I'm coming to you today with part 2 of trauma bonds. So yesterday I recorded and shared a video on trauma bonds, and today what I realized is that I really just wanted to add on to that. So there were some things that I wanted to make sure that I mention as part of our process of education and raising awareness. So you can see Coda and my little setup where I do my yoga and my exercises. So coming to you from the park, and my additional thoughts are this. One is that, more about this dynamic of the trauma bond and how we find ourselves in it with the push-pull and the on-off status and just the roller coaster ride, and really just the inconsistencies. The inconsistencies around the love you are either giving or receiving. I'm not really coming at this from any angle. It's just sort of from, each person's perspective on it, because both parties are trauma bonded, regardless of whether, it's someone who identifies as being an empath or someone who identifies as being a narcissist. Both parties are involved in this trauma bond. So it's this push-pull, this back and forth. And the dynamic of what is labeled or titled love bombing, where it's like excessively validating, the other person, and praising and showering, and you feel it when you're being love bombed. And then back and forth between the alternative is completely devaluing, is being completely devalued, and having mean, insulting, rude, abusive things said to you. So it's this pattern of going back and forth between those things. It's a cycle. And what I didn't address yesterday is how we get into this cycle and why we become so involved in this. Typically, the reason is because we're working to act out patterns that are familiar to us from our childhood. So a lot of times, we're in these dynamics with people who are emotionally unavailable for us, and that's coming from a place of having been raised with caregivers who were emotionally unavailable. So there are a lot of different overlapping themes. I talk about them a lot. I talk about attachment styles a lot. I talk about nervous system regulation a lot. I talk about all different ways that we're able to do healing around, once we become aware of this pattern and of this trauma bond, ways that we can work to be moving past it. So a lot of work with my one-on-one clients with that, a lot of work in my group coaching programs with that. So understanding, first identifying that this is a trauma bond, that it is a toxic relationship, it is unhealthy, it is a situation that that you want to be getting out of, that, becoming aware of that, seeing the truth around that, really getting honest with yourself around what the situation is. For a while in my relationship, yesterday I mentioned that, or my video, yesterday, Trauma Bonds Part 1, I mentioned that the relationship, the dynamic that I realized it was a trauma bond, it went on for 2 years. The entirety of the relationship was 6 years. And what I came to realize is that the love I was receiving was extremely inconsistent, and yeah, it was because of a void in myself that I was okay with something like that. It was a void in me. I was okay with the emotional unavailability of my significant other because that's what I had experienced in my upbringing. And it's not a fault of any of my caregivers. They were doing the best they could. I understand that now. I've found acceptance and forgiveness around that. But regardless, that was the position I was coming from until I learned better. And until I have increased my awareness and done my own healing around it. Here, Coda. So becoming aware of it, really being truthful, really being honest with myself and with yourself around what the situation is. It's unhealthy, it's toxic, It's, we're reenacting these patterns from childhood because that's the safe zone. That's where our nervous system is activated. That's what feels like home. That's what feels familiar to us until we're ready to not do that anymore. So we got to break the cycle. So then the second part about being able to really break these patterns is to surround yourself with positive people and to really increase the supports you have around you. So whether that's with, there's this beautiful butterfly, whether that's with individuals who are going to lift you up, who are going to help you, remind you of the good in you, because a lot of times too, when you're in this dynamic, you've really been beaten down. So it's those who are going to lift you up, remind you of the good in you. You're surrounding yourself with positive people. I always think that we are the average of the 5 people we choose to surround ourselves with. And so taking a look at who your circle is, who are your people. Would it benefit you to see a therapist? Would it benefit you to hire a coach? Would it benefit you to enroll in personal development courses? Thinking about all those things for yourself and remembering it's all for your own growth, it's all for your evolution, it's all for your own support. So increasing the supports you have around you and making sure that you're feeling loved and like you're going to be, lifted up. So the third thing, how we can move past it. We got through why we found ourselves in this dynamic, and that was because at some point it felt familiar to you and it felt like home to you, and that felt safe. It is not safe. It is not a safe place to be. It is very important that we establish safety for ourselves. And this last step in being able to move towards healing and why, and understanding how we're in the situation to begin with, is to work on your own deep healing, is to do your own deeply healing inner work. Yesterday I had my book, or in the part 1 video, I had my book Keep Showing Up, that's available on Amazon. I had that book, and there's a ton of lessons in that book to be able to move you through self-love, self-empowerment, and self-worth, giving you these lessons to do the deeply healing inner work. Any group programs you feel called to enroll in for your own growth and your own evolution, your own ascension, absolutely. A lot of these programs, well, ideally they're trauma informed. They're understanding where, what a trauma bond is, how it gets going in the first place, how it's established in the first place, how we get caught up in that dynamic to begin with, and always coming back to ourselves. So it's not necessarily about the other person, but it's more so about ourselves and the healing work that you're going to do for yourself to be able to shift your vibration, to be able to align with others who are more in touch with, more congruent with your own beliefs about yourself moving forward, knowing your worth, knowing that you deserve to be treated like the queen or king that you are, and living in integrity, being a good person, doing inner child healing, looking back on your childhood and seeing what areas of your life you felt the void in, looking at that void, doing your shadow work. This is all such a huge part. Looking at your insecurities, looking at your core wounding, what you feel shame about, what you feel guilt about, where you're feeling fears of rejection or abandonment, what you're feeling just, not in your highest self about. Really getting honest with yourself and looking at all those things, making sure the supports are in place, doing your deeply healing inner work, okay? Anything you can be doing to help build your self-esteem back up. Coda's over here looking at another dog. Hey, here. So I hope those were helpful for you, and I hope you understand more about yourself. And if you've resonated with this video or part 1 of Trauma Bonds video, I hope these videos are helping you understand how you've gotten yourself in this place, and know that you're not alone, and know that there is a way out, there is a way to overcome it, there is a way to break the bond and to be a cycle breaker. It's all possible, and this is just part of your growth, and that's the beauty of it. So reach out, let me know your thoughts on this concept, and know that I'm here for support. This is work I do with my one-on-one clients. This is work I do in my group coaching programs, and there are a lot of others who are familiar with this too. But make sure that your person knows their stuff. And I feel very confident in my ability to be able to support you as you're coming to these realizations and moving through this spiritual awakening for you. So be in touch if you'd like, but know that I'm here and know that you are not alone. Okay, peace.